Hi, everybody.
Hello, Nick, Doctor.
Hello,
Doctor Nick.
Nick.
Hello, Nick, Doctor.
Doctor?
Knock, knock.
Doctor?
Who's there? Dr. Nick, hello.
Hello, Doctor. Doctor? Hello, Doctor.
This
Doctor Who?
week on
Wrong podcast.
this week on the anime podcast.
Listen, we have to
watched
lighten
our,
the mood fucking somehow.
Yeah. Okay, listen.
I'm
we
listening.
watched our second movie, and we watched Belle, which is Mamoru Hosoda's newest film. We went into it, and I was like, "This is a fun movie. It's the most lighthearted one I'm showing, probably."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, we'll talk about how that went.
Speaking of talking about it,
I just
we
realized
never organized who was going to say what.
Yep.
Also,
We
we
definitely
never
didn't, did we?
organized when
What?
we're gonna split it up into 3 acts.
Oh, no, that's what I mean. We just do it in halves like we did last time.
Okay, what's half?
Oh, okay. How many pages of your
4.
notes do you have? Okay, go to the beginning of the 3rd page.
Okay.
What's it about?
When the angel opened that door for her to go touch his bruises and blah blah blah.
Wow, okay, that's a lot further along than when mine is. Mine's at, Sorry. Okay, no, it actually is the exact same spot. I just was laughing at what I was saying. Because I remembered that I called a character Walmart Justice League.
Yeah.
Good, great. All right, cool.
Yeah, it is the same league. So that'll be a halfway point.
All right, cool. Who wants to start? You.
You want to start?
No.
Or you want me to finish?
Well, actually,
So you wanna do the end?
No, I'll start because I will cry.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yay! Lighthearted, fun movie time.
So we zoom in on the virtual community that is the internet, and it has a fuck ton of people. It's Matrix VR chat, basically, and it's an app on your phone called Uber. That's what it is. There's
it literally
whales.
looks like the Uber icon.
Yeah, there's literal whales that drive while a lady sings on top of it, and she's very pretty. And below, everybody fucking loves her at the Macy Days parade. And then we see a girl named Suzu wake up from a bed in a panic, and her dad asks her how she is, and she's like, and she also refuses dinner, and then her dad leaves. Everyone fucking loves Belle, but no one knows who the fuck she is. Belle, by the way, is the lady who was singing. Oh my god. She makes her way across the countryside. The girl, not Belle, waits for the bus, and that will be discontinued soon in September. But it takes her to a train that then takes her to school. At school, she's apparently not really talented and kind of boring. And Ruka is the most popular girl at school, and she plays saxophone. And her friend calls her basically the opposite.
Take a deep
Opposite.
breath. Stop. Take a deep breath. Continue.
Okay.
No, that's not a deep breath. You're going to hyperventilate, dear.
Her friend basically calls her the opposite of the very attractive popular girl with talent. So, there's that.
Mood.
We also have this other person who is apparently trying to start a canoe club. Nobody wants to be in the canoe club. Cut to another hot guy in school named Shinobu who is playing basketball, and Suzu apparently knew him from childhood, and he proposed to her kind of when they were like 6, and flashback to that for a moment, and her mom being alive, and all the fun super family outings, and life, and being happy, and also...
I love how you say that of like, cut back to when her mum being alive. Gee, I wonder where this is going.
Don't worry about it. And also learning piano, making songs with their mom, having a good time, but then also cut to a child trapped on a bank in the middle of a small river that is flooding.
Oh no! That child is stuck on top of a Wells Fargo!
It's a bank! It's a river bank! What would you like me to call?
Oh no, Spooky's dead.
What would you like me to call it?
funniest joke I've ever heard in my life.
I don't know. I mean, you can call it a bank. I'd call it like an island caused by the sudden rush of water.
Okay, there's flooding and there's an island. And her mom is like, no one's going to save her, so I'm gonna do it. And she's like, Mom, no, please. And so she jumps into the river to go after the kid. And the kid gets saved, but then, like, the mom doesn't come out of the river. And the little kid, like, almost walks herself into the fucking river after her to commit suicide.
Maybe.
Yeah, actually. And someone saves her, but we don't see who. Everyone basically thinks the mom was an idiot for going to try to save her, and by the way, Suzu doesn't sing much anymore, but she does write and draw, and she tries to make things, but she doesn't like any of them. They all suck. She can't do anything, right? She's like, why am I going through this? I'm all alone. Everything's unfair. Also, Popular Boy's watching her from afar at school, and she's just really fucking depressed. There it is. Okay. But when we go to a karaoke party, everyone asks her to sing, and we see that the person from You, Peggy Sue, is the new hot shit. And everyone's like, sing! And she's like, no! And now it's winter, and she's trying to sing at the river, and it makes her, like, legitimately vomit while having a fucking panic attack. And she gets a message about You and is introduced to it for, like, the first time. Back at school.
About me?
No, the app, Uber. Uber. It's Uber. Back at school, everyone wants to take a photo and even have Suzu in it. And the popular girl calls her over. And that's the photo she uses to make her character. But I think it takes the popular girl's face, but also not really. She thinks it does, but it takes her freckles, so it is her. Technically.
Yeah, she was just kind of...
Can we get some clarification on that?
So from what...
Because it is called back to later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the context is just kind of like, because Ruka is such like a standard really pretty girl, like Suzu is like, well, that can't represent me because that's not, like, I'm not a pretty popular girl. Like,
yeah, because I thought it was, just to cut aside real quick, because I wanted to flatten this out as well. Because it shows the phone taking her, Suzu, as the image, even though it has the squares over both of them. Like, hey, here's all the people. Like, who am I choosing? It chooses her, but then she thinks it shows Ruka.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and it's
okay,
just
she
Suzu
just thinks,
like,
you know.
Yeah, it was just because Suzu was like, I can't be that pretty. Can't be me.
Yeah.
But then, like, later down the line, Ruka's like, oh, everyone tells me that I look like Belle. And I'm like, wait, so was she actually taken after Ruka? Or is this actually just calling back to the fact that, like, Ruka is such a stereotypically beautiful
it's
girl.
very stereotypical.
Yeah, I think it's more of like,
I just wanted
it's more to reiterate, like, yeah, that couldn't be Suzu, you know?
Yeah.
Type deal, I am pretty sure.
Yeah. But we'll get to the other part of that later. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it has freckles, so it's like, oh, I guess it's me. But then she puts her AirPods in, and it takes over all her senses and turns her into Belle and drops her into Uber. And then the first thing she does, of course, is sing. And it's fantastic. And of course, because she can sing finally. And then the more she sings, people tend to, like, notice. And some people are like, stop showing off, you piece of shit. What the fuck? Stop fucking singing. What the shit? And then she wakes up and she's like, oh, I don't have any followers. But she was happy she got to sing, at least, which is nice. Which also makes her happier in real life and active and generally enjoys life. And then, like, the next day or same day, I don't know, she looks at her phone and she has a trillion followers. And it's still going up.
It was like 20 million.
Even Peggy Sue is asked about it and she's like, oh, she's nothing. What the fuck? And then she gets a lot of hate about it and it's like 50-50. And suddenly the girls in her class are talking about Belle, so she needs to leave. And Hiro, her friend, is like, holy shit, I already know about you and Belle. I'm literally like your manager and your song creator and blah-de-blah-de-blah. You have hardcore fans and you have haters. They're like 50-50. Don't worry about it. I got this. Also, Hiro's spooky, by the way. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hero is just spooky.
Yeah.
It becomes obvious a little bit later.
Yeah.
She does kind of look like me, too.
People are trying their best. Well, I mean, you don't go, oh, ho, 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 but it's fine.
I don't.
No, Spooky goes,
That's true.
I do that, actually.
Yes. People are trying their best to figure out who Belle is. Any money that they're getting, though, is apparently going to go through charities. Cut back to her on the whale. And now everyone loves her, and Peggy is becoming unimportant. So bad that Hero is banned from the computer room for a bit. So they talk about how they're gonna have to figure something else out. And there's the abandoned school that they go to that the countryside people use for activities, including choir
it's like
practice.
A community
Yeah,
center
like a community center.
Yeah, and all the older ladies there were apparently friends with Suzu's mom and like Suzu, and they're like, Suzu, you have to come out and sing at some point. And she's like, no. And
I called them the aunties. Because
Yeah.
they're like her aunties.
Yeah, they are absolutely aunties.
They're like community aunties.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anyway, she's like, what's happiness? And they're like, we don't know. And even the lady who looks like she's 80, she's like, I don't fucking know. Back at school, Suzu is confronted by Hot Boy. They talk, and he grabs her hand, and everyone's like, and she won't look at him, and it gets awkward, and she realizes everybody's looking, and she runs off and goes, you don't need to worry about me anymore. But then she walks back to, I guess, maybe try to talk to him, and she sees Popular Girl talking to Hot Boy, so she's just like, well, fuck, and leaves. So now we have a concert for Belle, and it's a whole lot of people, and it's literally, apparently, Star Wars, from what Cam said. There's a bubble of water in the middle. Go on.
Well, I was joking that it was like Blitzball initially, and then like it became like the way there was like water flowing over. I was like, this weirdly is reminding me of like Revenge of the Sith when the whole "Have I ever told you the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise?" all that scene. But like earlier as well, I was like, man, this I had two prequel moments of like, this reminds me of Star Wars. There was that, and earlier I was like, man, this whole like Belle looking around and everyone flying, it just reminds me of like the Attack of the Clones bit with like Obi-Wan looking around trying to find the speeder that, you know, with the Zam
with like the floating
with the
sort of
fucking
city
bounty hunter
thing.
Yeah, with Coruscant.
Yeah. Now we're at the concert. Yeah. Her dress is a chandelier that falls apart, turns into whales. She swims in water and air, and now she's gonna do a song. But then suddenly the dome breaks open, and someone's being chased. And it's someone named the Dragon. He is a monster that lives in Uber. He fights in the Uber, and he he wins most of the time. But apparently he also cheats, and he's also covered in bruises, which are weird. And everyone's like, this doesn't make any sense. We don't like him. He's scary. The Justice furries are here to protect you, and they're the ones chasing him. That is the, what did you call them, Gam?
I called them the Walmart Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they look like the Justice League if they were like sponsored by Walmart.
They were sponsored.
But also furries.
One's like a Doberman, one's like a cheetah, and one's, I think, like a bird. And then the rest are like human-ish.
There were a few other cats as well.
And one's a robot, I think.
Yeah, there were a couple other cats.
Yeah.
And then one was a white guy.
Justin.
Yeah.
His name was Justin.
Yeah, that's not even a joke. Like, it sounds like I'm making a joke. It's not.
So everyone's upset that Dragon ruined the concert, and Belle stares and just goes like, ugh, which makes him say, don't look at me. But then suddenly
she turns and goes, I can fix him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blonde dude shows up and goes, I can handle this. Go, my Justice League. And they close the sphere again, trapping him, I guess. And they're blaring lights at his face to blind him in order so Justin can shoot him with his green light that we will talk about later. Dragon instead flies past Belle, grabs some scaffolding to beat the shit out of them and put them on ice. He kind of has that ability. Blonde is like, I will find him and unveil him one day. And Belle is still like, she's back home now and asked about school and just goes, And the concert canceling is apparently huge news. Canoe Guy, by the way, is headed off to go to something, and both girls are going to get on a train and talk about Dragon, and how he's only lost 3 matches, has no social media attached to his account. They go to the abandoned school and set up the entire computer system that they need to continue being Belle, because she got kicked out of the room, if you remember correctly. Sorry.
I don't remember anything.
It's fine. I don't either. So maybe it's this artist that got tattoos like bruises like the dragon, and they Skype him and he just kind of hangs up. And they talk to someone about how it was like a birthday party she was throwing, but she was lying and whatever, and she could be it. And there's this baseball player
Lying
that
cow.
hides stuff under his clothing, so it could be him. Also, he has this place that he lives called the Castle.
I mean, that's not the reason why everyone suspects him. Everyone keeps saying, like, he acts all good, but secretly he's a terrible person, like, really aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The baseball player or dragon?
Baseball player. That's why
Okay.
everyone suspects baseball player. Because,
Okay.
like, the way you just said it, it's just like, he puts stuff under his clothes. Oh my god, he could be the dragon.
I said he hides
Oh my
stuff.
god, any trans man is wearing a binder is the dragon.
Fuck you!
They put stuff under their clothes.
Oh my god. And then the entire internet is like, who the fuck? We find out Bru's artist got the tattoo because his girlfriend died, and that's where she was injured, supposedly. Also, by the way, Hero is in love with a teacher, so there's that. The physics.
Not
geek.
only a teacher, he's
But the
also an
oldest
old man.
shit.
teacher.
Yeah, so there's
She
me.
literally... Hey, Spooky, I have a question. What's your phone background?
Akira and Kondo, isn't
It
it?
is. Akira and Kondo is my phone background. My
That
phone
wasn't a
lock
guess.
screen,
I'm
and
pretty sure it's
yeah.
because you've told me before.
It's them, and then all 3 of my PC monitor backgrounds are also them.
Amazing.
So,
Yeah.
Dope Nation over here. Woo,
Um,
let's go.
Also, Hero makes a dead mom joke and then goes, "Oh, fuck."
Oh, fuck, sorry.
And they're like, "Nah, it's
I
fine."
forgot your mum's dead.
And they're like, "Nah, it's fine." And she goes, "Okay, good. I'm here for you. Now eat your fucking food." So, I'm here for you. Fuck off.
Delicious.
Because Hero isn't just spooky. I think Hero feels like me and Spooky combined.
Yeah.
Like
the
the-
old man loving of me and the bitch of Tyr.
The conniving bitch. Yes, thank you.
You know, this character is a combination of me and Deer. Me because they love old men, and Deer because Deer's a bitch.
I mean that in the most loving way possible.
No, I know you do, but like,
Because Deer's a bitch, in parentheses, positive.
but here's the thing, I don't disagree, because I am absolutely a conniving bitch, and I would absolutely do all the computer management shit. I would absolutely do that.
Shit.
Oh.
Can I just say also,
I would also
like,
make
one
the
little
dead mom
small scene
joke,
that I
but go
fucking
on.
loved?
Yeah, what's up?
One small scene that I fucking loved, when she's lugging around all the computers,
Mhm.
the fucking canoe guy walks past and is like carrying stuff too, and he's just like, "Oh, are you preparing for like stuff too?" And she just stares him dead in the eyes and just says, "Don't compare you to me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm nothing like you.
Yeah.
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 Oh.
We are not the same."
I love that everyone like kind of shits on him, but like
Yeah.
in like a loving
Yeah.
way. Like it's not like they're mean to him. Like
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not like a,
Yeah.
hey, like, he's a piece of shit, or like, I
Yeah.
just hate him, let's, you know, like, take his clothes away and
it's like
throw
that.
them in the
Yeah,
river
it's
and,
like
haha,
that friend
fuck
in
you.
the group that like everyone just decides like we pick on them and like
Yeah.
yeah, like it's not mean-hearted. It's just like
Yeah.
silly.
So back in the Uber, Belle is looking for the castle, but finds that little AI that's like talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, it's taking me to weird places." And she keeps trying to talk to the AI to figure out where it's going, and then the little angel comes up, and that like she saw whenever she first came to the U and sang, and he liked her voice. And he was like, yeah, that one was lying, follow me. And it's the fucking, it's Hollow Bastion. It's just Hollow Bastion. It's literally Hollow Bastion.
Not just, the externals are Hollow Bastion, but when I say the internals are literally Beast Castle, it's like, you could almost sue for plagiarism. Like, the layout is exactly the same. Even, like, the rooms have the same layout. It's like, this is, like, I get what you're going for, but, like, this is a little bit too close.
Yeah, when did we realize that it was Beauty and the Beast? And
the minute Dragon came into the scene.
Okay, yeah, we did.
And it zoomed in on him, and everyone was like, he's ugly! You were like, oh my god, it's gonna be like Beauty and the Beast. And I was like, haha, that'd be funny, but they wouldn't do that. And then it zoomed in on him, and Belle, like, going like, oh, I can fix him. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, it is Beauty and the Beast.
I mean, yeah. So there's... Inside the castle, we walk around and all the little AI are like, oh, Master won't like this. And then there's a secret rose garden grown here. And Dragon comes up and goes, why are you here? And he tells her to leave. And it's just the fucking Belle and Beast bit. Even...
Literally!
Him threatening to bite her head off. Angel...
And then immediately, like, slapping his hand against his head, being like, oh, what have I done when she leaves?
And Angel floats down, and we follow him, and he whines, and Angel tries to leave, and Dragon just grabs him. Question! I just realized, the Angel was his little brother, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, yes. That took me a bit. I don't know why that took me a bit.
No, it's not spelled out at all.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense for a different scene where there's... Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so...
Anyway, keep going.
I'm sorry. So she's like, you're just putting on an act, you fucking idiot. What the fuck? Tell me. And he's like, no, and he runs away. Suzu is told she's in love by all the old aunties, and it shows on her face, and they're like, ho, 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 ho. And one lady talks about going to Ohio to buy a guy a present she liked.
I once studied abroad in Ohio.
Yeah, I love the sentence, I studied abroad in Ohio. Like, what?
I don't...
It's so fucking dumb.
So
fucking Ohio. It's always Ohio.
Mm-hmm. So she bought the guy she liked a present from Jungle Gyms. Suzu on the way home is trying her best to sing and think about her hot boyfriend and also Dragon, and she sings something nice enough and she's like, maybe I'll record it. But then she's getting like 1 trillion like messages, all people talking about her holding hands with Hot Boy, and it's like a total fucking war, Fire Emblem style, like world of whatever, I don't know, mobile games. And
it's like a Clash of Clans or like any of those, like, basically, remember those mobile apps, like the games where they'd have a screaming knight on it going like, oh, as the icon? Any of those.
Yeah. Hero steps in and like works it out basically, and then Suzu basically goes around and she's like, I'm not even good enough for him, and they're like, oh yeah, you're right, and then there's a truce.
It's like they go to all the different sections but like trying to explain it, and it's just like truce.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty funny.
She runs her way all the way to Hiro's house, apologizing to everyone, but then Popular Girl is now calling her to talk, but like why? And we assume that it's because she wants something from her and it has to do with Hot Guy. While walking back, we see Canoe Guy just training and going down the river.
This is the best bit.
And Hot Guy is also there, and he's just like, yeah, he keeps canoeing, and I'm just fucking waiting for him. And he asks Suzu if something happens, and she's like, no. So she finally gets the courage to ask him something, but then Canoe shows up, and he's like, wait, what were you guys talking about? She's like, nothing. And he's like, cool, I qualified for nationals. And she's like, whoa, that's so cool, I'm rooting for you. And he's just like, wait, if you're rooting for me, do you have a crush on me? And she's like, no. And he's like, oh, okay, and just leaves.
She just like stares silently, and then he's like, no. And then Shinobu's like, "You're dumb," basically. Like,
yeah, basically.
So fucking good.
So, back to that question, she's like, yeah, never mind, it's fine, don't waste your time on me anymore, and runs away, and books it home, and texts Popular Girl and says she'd help her while tears are streaming down her fucking face, and they're continuing to stream down her fucking face all the way into Uberland. Fucking go, Gam. I don't... This is literally the part where I started losing my shit, so just go.
Yeah. So sort of... Okay, sorry. The minute you said that, I was like, so I'm just going to backtrack a little bit to go up from this. So Suzu tells Shinobu, like, you don't have to waste your time worrying about me anymore, and runs away, and he's like, Suzu, come back, and she's like running, and then stops, and then starts crying far away, and then texts Ruka going like, hey, like, you're all good, I'm not gonna step on your toes, womp womp. Cut back to you now, and Belle finds out that...
Me specifically?
Yes, you. Belle finds out that, like, she's finally let into the room by the little angel. And she looks around the room and sees that there's a photo frame of a woman fractured. And it's like, I get it now. And then he yells at her to leave. It's like, what are you doing there? She's like, yell at me again. And so she leaves, and Walmart Justice League catches her and is like, haha, tell me where he is, or I'll use my powers to unveil you. And we're like, what? And she's like, I won't do it. And he's like, I'll do it. I'll dox you. And then suddenly the dragon comes out of nowhere and starts attacking them and saving her and grabs her and flies her away. And then, like, there's this cool scene of them flying, and then he lets go of her and is like, go away now. And then she's just like, I know where it really hurts, and puts her hand on his heart, and he's like, what? And she's just like, thanks for saving me. And he's like, Belle. And then we cut to the song that she was singing earlier about him being a tsundere bitch. But now it's Belle singing it, not Suzu. And she makes a rose using the song that covers her and him. And it's like, yay, now we can see your trauma. Show me your trauma. Show me your trauma. Show me your trauma. And he starts, like, coughing and falls over and has, like, lesions on himself, like, growing on his cape. And he's like, don't look at me. And she's like, what? What? Oh, no. And then we cut to, like, everyone being like, Belle isn't doing any more concerts anymore. Why?
Well,
I bet it's because of the dragon.
Can I bring up a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So, during the fact that there's all the bruises and lesions and stuff growing on his cape, we hard cut to the little angel AI guy, like, dead on the ground. Like, he is just on the ground, not moving. And it is not brought up at any other point. And then, yeah, it just goes on from there. And that's important.
Yeah,
and I'm
like,
only just now realizing that's important.
You're realizing why it's important.
Yeah.
No, for some reason I didn't write that down. I should have.
It's okay.
But yeah, we cut to people being like, why isn't Belle doing any more concerts? And everyone's just like, we should unveil the dragon. Like, he's the reason. She's like, just leave him alone. Like, I think, like, this is, like, he doesn't deserve this. And then we cut back to, like, the artist from earlier, and we find out his girlfriend didn't actually die, and so he isn't the beast, because she's like, here's all the tea. He only got those tattoos to make it look like the bruises that the dragon has, blah, 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 blah. And then we find out Baseball Man is just a man who had, like, a lot of surgeries as a kid, and, like,
so that's why he covers,
That's why he covers up a lot. And he's not, like, some towering, angry man. He's just, like, really didn't want to talk about it, and now he's being like, I'm gonna, you know what, I've realized that I need to use this to empower others to break through with their scars and learn that they are not broken. Theming. and everyone wants Belle to like perform, but she's in hiding. She's like, oh god, I can't face the music. But Walmart Justice League find her, and they put her in a chair. And this is when we learn that Justice League leader man power is literally to dox people. He has a green beam that when it shines over people, it reveals who they are and deletes their character, essentially. And it's like, oh my god, he's a doxer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, wow, he talks about, why aren't there police online? And it's like, oh, it's because I'm a piece of shit and I want all the power. Blah, 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 blah. All that fun shit. And she's like, I'm not, no matter what you do, I won't tell. And the little AIs that the Beast have come and protect her. They free her from the location. But one of them accidentally drops a rose petal from the castle, and Doxa, Walmart Justice League leader, is like, ooh, ha 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 ha, it has code on it. Uh-oh, that's not good. We cut back to real life, and she wants to protect the dragon now. She doesn't just want to leave him alone. She's like, I want to protect him. I want to save him. And her dad asks if there's anything wrong, and she's like, no, everything's fine. He just is like, I'm here if you ever want to talk, which no one will ever talk if you say that.
Yeah.
It's a thing. And then we cut to one of the cutest scenes ever. It turns out that Ruka actually likes Canoe Boy.
Yeah, the prettiest girl in school.
And it's like,
the one that everyone pokes fun at.
Yeah, and then she's just like, I know who you like, Suzu. And Suzu's just like, don't say his name, just and she's like, well, how long have you been? And she tells the story of the whole marriage proposal thing and everything. And it's just like, after my mum died, I was always crying and it pushed people away, and I guess he thought I was being bullied or something. And Ruka was just like, he kind of is like your mother, like a mother to you. He worries about you and constantly takes care of you. Like, that's kind of the role he is to you. And she's just like, oops, I said his name. And I just imagine Suzu just fucking punching her in the face. Be like, I told you not to say it. But no, she doesn't do that.
Yeah, they just laugh about it.
We cut back. Yeah, they just laugh about it. We cut back to the transit station, and Canoe Guy is there, and they're like, oh no, and everyone's speechless. This is the best scene in the movie. Mm-hmm. And Ruka just sort of quietly goes, I'm rooting for you, like Susie did earlier, and Canoe Guy is still frozen and like stands up slowly and starts saying, they're like, does that mean you have a small crush on me? Haha. And Susie just nods slightly, and Ruka blushes and drops her bag, and he slowly starts to get redder and redder. Just going, it was a joke. It was oh no, and he runs away, and Susie's just like, no, don't run into traffic. Come back here. And tries to get him to come back and talk to her. And they just have a really cute scene about, like, what are your hobbies? I like music. What music do you like? I like Belle. And that's when Susie's like, what?
Yeah, Susie goes like pale and backs out.
Yeah, Susie goes like pale. And then Ruka is just like, yeah, everyone says like she looks like me, but I don't know. Like, I could never sing that well. And they have a cute thing where Canoe Guy's just like, well, if you're cheering me on at Nationals, I'm definitely gonna win. And he like blushes even harder. And Susie's just like, my job here is done.
Yeah.
And leaves. Turns around, and Shinobu is right there across the road staring at her. It's just like, it's your turn, Suzu. No.
I love when
and he's just like...
Yeah. Sorry, I just love the line. When he's like, have you seen Canoe Guy? And she's like, yeah. And then she like turns and he's like right there, but he's still talking to Ruka, and she's like, no. And Shinobu's like, which one is it? And it's like... It's like the perfect, like, it's funny, but like awkward like high school kids are. So it's just like this perfect little like scene. I don't know.
And then Shinobu is just like, I need to tell you something, Suzu. And she's like, I do too. And he's like, you're Belle, aren't you? And she's just like, what? No, you're wrong. And runs away and has another freak out, crying. It's like, oh god. And then suddenly gets a message. Dragon is in trouble. Oh my god. We cut back to Uber. And The dragon's castle has been found and located and revealed to everyone, and Walmart Justice League are storming it with all the army members, and all the sponsors are behind him, being like, "Haha, we are this raid sponsored by Amazon."
Yeah.
And we get all, beast bad, rah rah rah. We gotta kill him, unveil him, like rah 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 rah, all that stuff. And then we cut to like kids on Uber being like, "Ah, no, I love the kids. Come on, I love the kids. I love the dragon. Come on!" Like the adults just hate him, and then it cuts to adults being like, "These kids have like only one viewer. They're fucking shit. No one cares. Like everyone hates the dragon. Blah 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 blah." And then we cut back to Suzu being like, "I'm gonna go back to the castle to find him." And this is where it gets a little bit weird. Of like, how does going to you work? But the movie doesn't really want you to think about it, and like,
yeah, it's like one of those. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but it is just kind of like how does that work? So.
Yeah, it's like, how does that work? And it does. They are clever in that they don't ever make you think about it. This is the only time where you might actually think about it.
Yeah.
Of like, wait, how did she get from here to there?
Yeah, that was the only time I really like thought about it, where I was like,
yeah,
that and the character creation thing, like seeing like all the different things, and I was like, wait, but doesn't it just like scan your body? Like that threw me off. But I'm assuming there's just options we didn't see for that. But this part, it was really like, wait, how does this work? But it's only like a passing thought, But
anyway, we cut back to her in the castle, and all the AI are dead, and the sky is grey. Walmart leader is just like, haha, like, we couldn't find him here, but, we'll burn down the castle anyway. Rah, 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 I'm evil. And one of the AI gets, like, Belle picks it up and is just like, here, I'll open the door for you. Like, I'll lead you to where he is just because it's you, no one else. And she runs through the door. And then, this is where I kind of lost the plot a little bit, because I had to look away for a second. And then I looked back and, like, 4 things happened. What were the aunties doing?
During what part? When they were in the school thing?
Like, yeah, when they were in the school thing. When where like cut to them and everyone was, it's like it's revealed they're watching Uber or something.
Yeah, so they also used the app, basically. Like, they were keeping... Okay,
so it was just revealing that they also
Yeah, they were keeping an eye on Suzu by also using
that's what
the
I thought
app,
it was.
because they, like, knew she was Belle. They just, like, never said that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all
cool.
it was.
That's what I thought it was.
Which I think that's like the one
like,
big reveal in the movie that I think's kind of silly. Where it's just kind of like, okay.
It is
like,
a bit silly.
Yeah.
But it's also very cute.
Yeah.
It's like, they're all like, go Belle, essentially.
Yeah.
And then, wow, I apparently lost a whole heap of notes here somehow.
Ooh.
We cut to Belle going up to find the beast. Oh yeah, there we go. He goes and finds the beast, and like he very clearly needs help, but he's just like, if I can just endure, it'll all be okay. Hint, hint. And this is where Belle's just like, I've got to do something to help him. Like we need to find out who he is and help him out. And then we sort of cut to, like, back to the school where Hiro and Suzu are trying to figure out who the dragon is, and they're like zooming through all these live streams and everything, and then they cut back to one of them, and it's like zoom enhance.
Yeah, they can hear they can hear a kid humming a song that only the
dragon would have known.
Yeah, only the dragon would have known.
Yeah. And it's like, oh my god, it was that, like, almost comatose looking kid from earlier that was popping up when they were showing, like, footage of all the kids being like, I like the dragon.
They also showed them at another point.
Yeah.
Too. They showed them like 3 times in the movie prior to this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, yeah, it's like, oh my god, that kid. And Hero's like, is that kid the dragon then? And Belle's like, wait, no, hang on. Something else is going on. And we come in, we watch the live stream to, like, the kid humming the song, but then the dad comes in.
Real quick, can I add, Spooky said, what was it, Spooky?
Yeah.
What did you call this?
Yeah, what was it, Spooky? What'd you call
this?
What'd you call this movie?
A fun film.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fun film.
Yeah,
Okay.
A fun, lighthearted film.
I started saying this was a more lighthearted film. I kind of forgot the severity of some of the things, okay? And then I said it was
the severity of the theme of the movie?
Yeah.
The underlying emotional plot of the story?
Yeah, well, then I was like, it's a fun movie. Because when I said lighthearted, I meant fun. And I still stand by a lot of the movie. I think
Speaking
is
of fun, the dad comes into the room.
Hold on.
And starts smashing everything onto the floor.
Hold on. So speaking of fun, go on, Gam.
Yeah. Sorry.
So speaking of fun, the dad comes in and is just like, "Why are you singing this music? I can hear it and I don't want to hear it. It's disturbing me." And the kid's just like, "Oh, like I just like it." And the dad goes berserk and throws like vases and shit all over the floor and is just like, "Stop it," and basically comes in to abuse the child. But then the brother comes in and is just like, "No, stop," and literally physically shelters his brother and is just like, "It's okay, he didn't mean it, it's my fault. I'm the one, that should take the hits. That I should take the blame for all of this." So real fun stuff,
Yeah, okay,
I
want to defend myself really quick and say prior to watching this movie, I watched literally the darkest, most suffering film I've ever seen in my life. So
Marriage Story?
No. So having those back to back, this was way more fun in comparison.
Oh, okay. So familial abuse is funny. Got it.
The
other review is way worse.
So this is
yeah.
So this is when I started crying the second time. No, the third time.
This is when you started crying the second time.
Third time. Sorry. Go on.
Mm-hmm. So we cut to. So it's like, oh my god, trauma is his superpower. And Suzu is just like, I gotta call them and I want to help them. So she calls them. It's just like, "Hi, I'm Belle. I want to help. Can you hear me? I please let me help you." And then some other guys just join and dude, I told you it was child abuse. Should we call the cops? Ha ha ha. And then leave. And then the brother's just like, "Oh, do you enjoy watching the misery of others? Do you enjoy watching how awful our lives are?" And it's just like, help, she's just like, "But I want to help." And he's like, "How everyone wants to help. Everyone talks about helping, but it's all just talk. Oh, I talked to your father. He really understands now. It's all just talk. It never actually helps." And then he leaves. And then they're just like, this is where I kind of didn't fully understand why they do what they do. How does this actually help? But anyway, we'll get to when I finish explaining what happens. Yeah. Hero is like, "Oh my god, we gotta they're ignoring you. You gotta reach them. And so they go back in, and Shinobu just appears behind Suzu and is just like, "You gotta be you." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, you gotta, in order to reach them, you have to be authentic. You have to sing like you, don't sing like Belle."
So I mean, the reason for that was because they saw her face and they knew what she looked like, but they didn't trust. But they didn't believe she was Belle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if she had the same voice as Belle, if the slipper fit basically, and she sang the same song, then they'd be like, "Oh, that is." I guess I
just didn't understand why it was so grandiose about I mean, obviously it was to get to that scene.
A big part of it also is less about their character and more about Suzu's character, because it's her learning.
I think that's where it kind of got a little bit muddled to me. I feel like that's where it got a little bit muddled in you have two really good storylines and they should be converging here, but it feels almost like we take it's almost like instead of them converging, it's like, okay, we kind of need to make Suzu's personal storyline take precedent now, and it's like, I guess we can kind of make it relate to the abuse storyline, but for me it kind of feels like it's like, okay, hang on, we need to pause this for a second. We need to do Suzu's remember when this movie was about her and her insecurities and her,
think that because
struggling with her trauma.
This was the moment where she finally recognized why her mother went into the river. Like, this was the moment where she went, oh, I feel that now.
Yeah, that's exactly
so I think that's more so why. Because, like, while she's... Whenever she does the reveal, there's, like, a moment where it, like, shows her eyes, like, she's, like, getting a little more, like coming to the realization. She, like, thinks of her mom, and it's like, this is the moment where she goes, oh...
She gets the closure, finally.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm going to do for these kids what my mom did for that kid. Like, I am going to go risk my life, and not just is like her. Yeah.
And not just for... Because, okay, let me just say. Yeah. So what happens is she goes back in and as Belle, and everyone's like, oh my god, it's Belle, finally! And everyone surrounds her and creates this giant egg. And then... Walmart dude is like, oh, we'll use her to lure out the dragon. And then he's like, why isn't she singing? I'll go check. Flies in. He's just like, sing. And she's like, dox me, bitch. And he's like, what? And she grabs his arm and doxes herself and reveals, oh my god, Belle was Suzu. And she starts singing
just some normal
as herself.
Kid.
Yeah, just a normal kid. She's just like me, for real. And she starts singing, and it's not just that she starts realizing, like, I'm wanting to do what my mother did, but it's like, because the entire movie, she, like, we talk about why, like, it talks about why she's upset about her mother's death still, and it's that feeling of, like, why did my mother leave me alone?
Yeah, it's like she couldn't understand those feelings.
She couldn't understand why her mother did what she did.
Yeah.
Because she was on the receiving end of, like, oh, I feel like my life with you is less valued to you than the life of a random child.
Yeah.
Like, that's what she had grown up with. So it's like, now it's not just her being like, I'm doing what my mum did, and, like, I want to do this, but, like, I understand why my mum did this, and I finally... it's like she's able to shake off this feeling of almost hatred towards her mother because of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, I don't know why it just doesn't blend well for me. I think it might just be like the way the scene transitions between the two. I think that might just be it. Like, it's not it doesn't work at all for me, but it's like, it takes me a few minutes to be like, wait, why? Oh, okay, I get it now. I don't know. It doesn't make the movie any worse in my mind. It's just a weird little nitpick, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, he goes to stop her, and everyone's just like, oh my god, she's just a little girl, and Peggy Sue especially is just like, wait, she's just an ordinary girl, just like me. And then Shinobu makes the audio go live, so to make her sing, as herself, not as Belle. And she... God damn it, why did I write this? I wrote she sings Gangnam Style.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep, she sings Gangnam Style. And this is when we get the sort of flashbacks and parallel imagery to her mother. And it's like, oh, she's getting the closure on it all. She's finally understanding and being able to put the trauma to rest. And Walmart dude is like, why isn't she fading? She's been unveiled. She shouldn't exist here. Yeah, like, what? I don't get it. And everyone else starts, being uplifted by her singing and the sort of heart-warm orbs that she's producing through her emotion. Everyone else starts doing as well, and you have this sea of orange glow, and then suddenly the whale from the beginning bursts through it all, I guess killing a few people and picking her up. Sorry, I just realized, like, all those orbs were people, and the whale just pushed through them all.
Fine.
It's fine. It's symbolic. And starts swimming around with her, piggybacking her message and her emotion throughout the whole of Uber. The whole of Uber. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I like how, like, every, like 50% of the time when Gam has said Uber, he has started laughing.
Yes.
Listen, it's just so funny to me.
Yeah.
We cut back to the real world, and they're just like, hey, dragon boy, like, hello, like, can you hear me? And it turns out he's calling her, and he's like, oh my god, like, you actually care, like, oh my god, you are Belle, like, of course, like, sure, like, and starts, opening up to her, and they're like, here's my address, and then the dad comes in, and stops them, and breaks the webcam, and they're like, oh no, we'll never find them now, and then there's a kind of really cute scene where it turns out everyone's behind behind Suzu now, like, Ruka, the aunties, Canoe Guy, everyone's here. And Ruka just speaks up and is just like, hang on, I recognize, like, I heard two tones during that, and I recognize them. And everyone's like, okay, well, those two tones, they're afternoon jingles that are only played in these two, so they must be between these two towns. And so they're just like, oh my god, we found the general area. And Susie's like, I've got to go. And she's on the train there, and she gets a text from her dad being like, hey, the choir ladies told me what's going on.
Can we also talk about how Canoe Guy, because he took the picture at the Nationals of the two fucking buildings, that they CSI zoom in on the kid's window and enhance it and go, wait, I know those two buildings. I was at Nationals and I have that photo.
Yeah, it reminded me of when they showed the Kingdom Hearts stuff, and people found out, like, which apartment in which city Sora was in, like, within, like, 50 minutes of the trailer. It was, like, insane. It reminded me of that.
And found out how much his rent would be. Yeah. It was like, damn, Sora's able to afford, like, a 50,000 yen apartment.
Yeah,
Fuck.
that's what it reminded me of, though. It was just like, here's these little things, like, the skyline or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's kind of like that shit. It's pretty insane. And so she goes and her dad's just like, I found, like, the choir lady told me what's going on. And he tells her, like, you've been so sad since your mum died, and, like, you suffered so much, but you've grown to be such a caring girl who, like, understands how people feel. It's just like, I hope you find them, and I hope you're kind to that person. And she just responds with thanks. It's like, it's not in the, like, I hate you, dad sort of way, but it's like what am I supposed to say? Like, there's nothing, like, she still isn't fully over everything, and, like, it's not like, oh my god, dad, like, I love you now, because, like, she has this sort of animosity towards her father.
Yeah.
Not in a, like, they hate each other, but, like, she just doesn't know how to talk to him, and he doesn't really know how to talk to her.
Yeah.
So, it's like, there's not really anything else she can say, but at least she said something, because, throughout all of this, she hasn't ever said really anything to her dad.
Mm-hmm.
So she finally arrives in the location, and it's raining, of course, and she starts running around trying to find them, and she sees the smaller brother, and he's just like, Belle? And she runs up to him and hugs him, and is just like, everything's gonna be fine, like I'm here, like everything will be fine. And the older brother shows up, and it's just like, wow, you actually came. She's just like, yes, of course I did. Like, I promised, and, we're here to, I want to help, and I mean it. And then the dad shows up.
And then I cried for the 8th time.
And then Dear cried for the 8th time. He comes to stop her, and she gets knocked on the ground and gets a bit of a cut on her cheek. And then she stands back up and stares him in the face, and he goes to punch her, but she doesn't flinch. She doesn't flinch. She stands true, just staring him in the eye. Not angry, not upset, just staring at him, and he can't do it. He can't punch her. She's not scared of him, and he collapses to the floor and just runs away. And so she and the older brother, who was the beast, hold each other and tell them, like, how much they've helped each other throughout all of this, of, like, you've helped me become this person, you've helped me realize this about myself, like, I really love you for this. And thanks them, and she gets thanked by them, and that's the end of that. She goes back to the train station, and goes back, and her dad's picking her up and is like, hey, do you want dinner? Like he said throughout the whole movie. And she just goes, yes, let's get dinner. And then everyone's behind her dad. Just be like, welcome back, Susie. Like all the aunties and Ruka and everyone. And we cut to her walking.
I want to say really quick, I love the welcome, because like when she gets off, her dad says welcome back to, like, after she says yes to dinner. She says I'm back, and he says welcome back. And I just love like that symbolism of like she is back, like full again, right? Like she is Suzu again now after not.
She's no longer held down by this weight.
Yeah,
she herself is back as a full person. And so we cut to her walking with Shinobu in the afternoon, and he's just like, you were really cool for protecting those kids, and I'm finally done being your guardian. Like I feel like it's finally over. Like we can actually hang out now. Like I actually want to. And she sort of blushes a little, and he's just like, it's what I want. And then we cut to her, like, cut to the aunties being like, let's, like, everyone, like let's sing a song. Like, Suzu, do you want to take the lead? And everyone sort of stares at her, and instead of getting shy and be like, oh, I don't want to, like she just enthusiastically just goes, yeah. And just before she starts singing, the credits roll, and then Nick Fury shows up, and it's like, Susie, I'm putting together a team.
God. Mm-hmm. Yep. We forgot to start off with this, but I guess we should do the what do you guys think I think of this film?
I think you think it's okay.
I think you think it's alright. Yeah. I think maybe maybe a 6.
Okay. What do you think, dear?
7.
Yeah, I'm tossing up between 6 and 7.
Okay, I actually gave this an 8.
Okay.
Like 7.5, 8, somewhere in there. It's a movie where, like, as I sat on it more, the more I kind of liked it. But yeah, I ended up giving it an 8.
I wish I could like this more.
Yeah.
I feel like there's just a few things that, like, kind of are elephants in the room for me, of, like, the Beauty and the Beast stuff is a bit too much.
Same. Yeah. Like I get
they
it was
could have
like
done it a lot subtler.
Yeah, I know it was like supposed to be kind of a reimagining of Beauty and the Beast to an extent. But I don't
see that
really. I'm with you. I think I don't think it really added anything to it. Like having the Beauty and the Beast stuff.
It needed to go either full Beauty and the Beast or not. It went halfway, and because it went halfway, it was awkward and weird to see, like, the literal Beast's castle and hollow bastion.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for me is like, they took, like, the characters and some of the themes of Beauty and the Beast, but instead of making the themes and characters their own, or putting them in this sort of different situation, they also took the, like, iconography and, like, visuals of Beauty and the Beast and, like, just kind of put their own spin on it, when it's like, the reason Beauty and the Beast looks the way it does and, like, has the castle and everything is because it's Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
Like, you can't just take the Beauty and the Beast castle and put it in here and have it make sense. Like, have him have a castle if you want, sure, but having it be literally the same castle as the Beast castle, it's like, why?
Yeah.
The reason why it's a castle like that in Beauty and the Beast is because the Beast is meant to be a nobleman.
Right. Yeah.
He's meant to be this...
He's a prince.
Incredible nobleman in a town of peasants.
Yeah.
Who lives in his high tower. Whereas in here, it doesn't really make sense why he has a castle. It's like, when they said he was living in the ruins in a castle, I was like, okay, so he's living in like a literal destroyed castle or something. That's pretty neat. But it's like, no, this is literally just the castle from Beauty and the Beast. It's like, it's like a Disneyland ride. Like, it feels so clunky. It's like, I get why you're doing this, but I don't think you understand why it doesn't work here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I do think the Beauty and the Beast, like, The Beauty and the Beast stuff was definitely my, like, least favorite part of the movie, where it was just kind of like, I don't quite understand why this stuff's here, but, like, I liked the main story beats enough to where I definitely, like, I kind of just put that stuff on the back burner.
Yeah.
I do want to say I'm probably a little more lenient with films than I am with series, just because they have less time, in general. So, like,
that's fair.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit more lenient. So my 8 here means a little bit less. But
so if this was a series, like if this was told over 26 episodes or whatever, you would probably have given it a little bit less.
Yeah.
If it told the exact same story.
Yeah, just because, like,
the same way.
Exactly. I probably would have given it a little bit less, but I tend to be a little more lenient with movies just because it's, like, time constraints and stuff in general. I don't know. I guess I'm a little more willing to put up stuff. Yeah.
I want to be lenient, but also my thing always comes back to, if you needed more time to tell certain aspects of this story, then you need to redraft the whole thing.
Right.
Because it's like, it's like, okay, I get it, you didn't have time to tell this.
Right.
It's like, that is, like, not really an excuse to me. It's like, oh, we didn't have, I wish we could have expounded on this, but we didn't have time. It's like, my brother in Christ, you created this. Like,
right.
If you wanted to tell, like, more, like, some of it felt a little bit rushed, but it's like, some of it, I'm okay with it being a bit rushed, because it's like, okay, it isn't focusing on this,
right.
It's more just using this to tell the story. Like, Belle suddenly becoming really popular. You sort of expect, okay, so it's going to fall into all the sorts of things of, like, oh, Belle's getting harassed, or Belle's, or like, Suzu's being unable to deal with all the hate and everything. It's like, nope, that's not what this is about.
Right.
Her getting popular isn't what the story's about. It's just used to elevate the character's story in a different direction. And it's like, I'm okay with that being a little bit rushed. That's fine.
Yeah.
But other areas of it, it's like...
No, and I'm with you. Like, I literally think they could have just removed all of the Beauty and the Beast from it.
I feel like it was put in there because, like, it's like because if it's true, like, is it actually true that they, like, this is meant to be, like, a retelling of Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, Mamoru Hosoda, like, Mamoru Hosoda, like, to the point where a lot of the design, like, Mamoru Hosoda hired old Disney employees to help with the design work. Like,
okay, this feels like a story. The whole movie is trapped by that shit. Like, the best part about the movie is stuff that breaks away or involves the Beauty and the Beast stuff.
Yeah.
Everything that's kind of mediocre about this movie is stuff that is pulled over from, like, they needed to cut it off, essentially.
Yeah, I think the middle of the movie is definitely the weakest part of the movie, and that's what's focusing on the Beauty and the Beast the most. Like, the beginning is really solid. Mamoru Hosoda really is a master of, like, writing emotional stuff involving, like, loss of loved ones and things like that. And it's like, when Mamoru Hosoda was, when the movie was like, it was really good, which is the beginning and the end. Whereas, like, the middle, it's like, there are parts that are really good, but it's definitely not as good, right? Like...
Yeah. Plus, also, like, there were some times where the music would start and Belle would start singing, and it's almost like I would just start tuning out, because it's like, okay, so the next 2 minutes is just going to be a song. And it's like, it only started to connect, the songs only really started to connect to the themes and the actual characters more towards the end. Like, the first few songs, it's like, okay, this is telling the...
I would also
the first few songs start to, like... The first few songs tell the themes and the struggles, but it's like, it's the sort of thing of, like, it doesn't expound at all. It doesn't, like, go into detail or tell more about it. It's just like, here's a song about, I'm this girl that's trapped. That's like, okay, we just spent a few scenes doing that. Okay, you want to have a song to sort of sum it up? Okay, are you going to tell us anything more? Or is this going to be just a 2.5 minute of her singing about what we just learnt? In which case, like, I feel like you could have added more to it, of, like, have her have either some sort of revelation or an understanding or an evolution of what she's gone through. It just feels like the first few songs just sum it up. Not the first one where she goes in as Belle. That one, I feel, is
Which
good.
one are you talking about?
The one where she... The first one when she goes in as Belle.
Are you talking about the very, very first one, or when she first loads in as Belle? Like, are we talking about, like, the intro
When she first
song?
loads in as Belle. The first one when she loads in as Belle.
Well, I was confused because you guys were saying the very first one. The very first one's her on the whale. That's why I was like, wait, which one are we talking about?
That one's just intro to the movie, and it's like that it's like, I feel like that's fine for what it is. I feel it could have been better, but like, whatever, it's fine.
I agree. The first song is really important because it's like her being like, I can sing now, I can express myself with this, which is like a struggle she's been having. When was the next song after that?
Oh god, I've already forgotten which one it was.
Because she goes to do the concert, and the concert gets interrupted, so she doesn't do a song then. So then I think the next one is her with the dragon, right?
Did I just imagine that she was singing during the whale? I just imagined that she was singing during the whale, because I started tuning out, because it's like... I've realized what my actual problem is. That whale scene went on for too long before it got interrupted. Because even while we were watching, Deer was like, is she going to sing?
Yeah, that scene goes on a little bit too long for sure. It's just kind of like
that's what it was.
Because it's implying it was like either just the intro to the concert.
It was implying it was at a performance.
Whatever. Yeah. It's either the very intro to the concert, or it's like implying like this is the ending of a song and she's getting ready to do the next one. But I do agree that goes on too long. And it almost just feels like it went on too long to show visuals, which I don't agree with. I don't think you need to do that.
And the visuals had nothing to do with, like, they weren't thematic or symbolic. They were just pretty visuals.
Yeah, I am with you that one isn't. But yeah, then it's like after that you just go into...
Yeah, it's just after that, where it goes in. So I completely forgot. I thought she was singing during it, but no, I remembered... Because I started to think it, I was like, is she gonna sing? And then Deer literally said, like, is she gonna sing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish I just come out of it being like, I wish I liked that more. Like, everything in it, there are elements that it's like, this could have been a movie that I really loved, but like, it feels so held back by the Beauty and the Beast stuff.
Yeah, like I said, after I didn't...
Not all of
when
it.
I finished the movie at first, I was kind of like in the same boat where I went, why was there so much Beauty and the Beast stuff? And then the more I sat on it, the more I was like, no, I liked that movie more than I initially thought I did. Because I feel like once you sit on it, you kind of just forget about the Beauty and the Beast stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
so the more you forget about the movie, the more you like the movie.
Well, it's like you sit down and I feel like when I reflected on the important parts of the movie, right? Because it was like, the Beauty and the Beast stuff is like, whatever. But it's like, there's a lot of good aside from that. And there's a lot of good in the Beauty and the Beast moments. Like, when, Angel is on the ground, and later on you realize that's because it's Tomo, you realize, the Beast on the ground getting the bruises because at that moment he is protecting his brother and his dad is beating him, is like, like there are moments like that are really good. Yeah. I am like, there are good...
Like, I wouldn't say that's Beauty and the Beast stuff, though.
Right, it's just happening alongside, like, when that stuff is happening, I mean. But yeah, it's like, once I sat back and I was like, okay, what am I taking away from this movie? I guess once I realized, like, the Beauty and the Beast stuff's not that important. And like I said, I'm with you. I would have given this a higher score if the Beauty and the Beast stuff weren't there. But I think the rest of the movie, like, had enough for me to make it, like, yeah, this is worth it. Is basically, like, what it boiled down to. And like I said, I am a little bit more lenient with movies, typically. I tend to rate movies higher, so me giving a movie an 8, like, it's not... That's not, like, an amazing movie to me, right? Like, if I give a series an 8, that's, like, pretty high respect, because I expect more out of series, because you have a series to work with. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's more of a time commitment.
Exactly. Whereas, like, with a movie, it's, like, an 8 to me is, like, that was a good movie. I would watch that again. Where it's, like, anything below that, probably isn't, you know. And this definitely isn't my favorite Mamoru Hosoda film. Wolf Children's my favorite Mamoru Hosoda film. But yeah, no, I agree. There are just some things where I was like, why is this in here? And then there are parts where it's like, that didn't need to be in there that I really liked, like the whole, Ruka confessing to the canoe guy. Like, that didn't have to be in there, but I really liked that. And I kind of wish we would have got, like, more? I don't know, like, I feel like all of my favorite scenes from this movie are things that happen in the real world and not in the app.
Yeah, which... I think that's the biggest problem, is like...
And I get it, the app's important, like, that's...
I feel like the whole movie needed another draft. I feel like that's what it needed. It needed a whole nother draft to reevaluate the importance of the virtual reality thing, to reevaluate the Beauty and the Beast stuff. Not all of it, like, the dragon being the beast... That's fine, and you can make that work, and I feel like they did, for the most part.
Yeah.
But when they're making him literally do things that the Beast did in the exact same way, it's like, stop. Like, you can make this character do these things, like tell Belle to go away, but don't have it literally be the same thing.
Right.
But it's like, because, all the real-world stuff is pretty good, but then you think, oh yeah, but half the movie's based in this virtual reality thing, and it's like, well, what's the point of the virtual reality thing?
And it's like I said,
what's kind of central to the characters.
Yeah, like I get the point.
Is it treated like that?
Yeah, I get the point of it, because it's like, this is where Suzu kind of learns how to be herself. Like, she uses the virtual world as a crutch to learn how to be normal again. And I get it, is, and I understand, like, the dragon is, like, this character in this world. First off, obviously, is an escape, like, from the real life.
Mm-hmm.
And because they said, you know, he wanted to be this cool, really strong, almost superhero type character for these kids. And then, like, you know, fucking Justin decided that he needed to be, like, disposed of because he wants control over everything.
Justin.
Yeah. And so I like get it, but at the same time it's like and obviously it's like, here's Susie, like, here's your real, like, your potential, right? Because she has a really good singing voice, she can't sing in real life, and, like, obviously people cling to her singing voice. So I, like, understand what it's doing. I need to take a quick sip of water.
I like water.
Yeah, sorry. So it's like, I understand what it's doing, but I don't think, like, any of the best scenes were in that. Like, I don't know, it was just kind of weird. A weird little mix. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know, like I said, there's enough in this to where I would, like, recommend people watch it, and I would, like, watch it again. And I think there are, like, important messages in it. And, like, they do a lot of things really well, but I do think it could have been better, and I do think they could have cut a lot. They could have cut a lot of content out and replaced it with more important content.
Yep.
But,
no, I agree.
Yeah.
So, Dia, what do you think?
I gave it a 7 because I think they could have just cut out the Beauty and the Beast shit and it would have been fine.
Yeah, fair. I... 5 for me. I don't think it's bad. I think it's just okay. It's like... I like to think of it as like, it's a diamond that's like still got a shit ton of rock on it and it's still really rough.
Yeah.
If they had just given it a few more passes, it could have been something really, really good. But I feel like they just either didn't have time or didn't want to, or thought that this was the best they could do. So, yeah.
Alright.
That was our fun comedy movie that we were watching this month.
Oh, don't worry. You'll understand why I said this was the fun one.
No, I think...
What's the next one we're watching?
The next one we're watching? Am I allowed to say it?
One.
Can I say
We're all
it,
having a fun one. Yeah, you can say it.
Yeah, the next one we're watching
next?
is Grave of the Fireflies.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah, tune in.
That sounds gloomy.
Nah.
Yep. I'm glad that I've seen it because
it's a fun
Jesus
Ghibli film.
Fuck.
It's a fun Ghibli film.
It's a Ghibli film. It's great.
Yeah, it's literally a
Never heard
Ghibli
of it.
film.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're gonna be watching that next. It'll be fun.
And then, is that your last movie, Spooky?
No.
No?
Okay.
There's 5, remember? So 4 spooky.
Yeah. So after Grave of the Fireflies, we have one more, which we'll talk about that one a little bit later. I kind of want to keep that one under wraps.
It's
and then we
Futurama
get to
movie,
watch
isn't
porn.
Damn it,
Big
game. Yeah,
then we get to watch porn after that.
So.
Yeah.
Dicks out for the podcast.
Woo!
Woo!
Okay.
Alright, goodbye,
Well, that's Belle.
everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.